Hi everyone, Grant K here for the Smoke Learning channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can combine different animations together simply by connecting nodes without writing expressions. This is all driven through the action schematic in a very visual way. If you would like to follow along, please click the link in the YouTube description to download the media. Alternatively, if you're watching the podcast version of this video, then type the link displayed in your internet browser. In this shot, we're going to create a virtual heads-up display, or HUD, that's been made popular through various films and technology. So we shot a talent on a green screen and performed some virtual movements. We have an additional graphic that we'd like him to drag on the screen, review it, and push it away. So select the segment in the sequence and press Ctrl-Tab for the effects ribbon. Add a Connect Effects to the segment. Ensure you switch the display mode to show frames and not timecode. This will help with our timings later on. In the Connect Effects node bin, drag out an action node and hold Option to auto-insert the node into the existing connection. Double-click on the action node for its controls. Ensure the action schematic is on the left with Escape, and the result view is on the right with F4. Now go into the Media panel and drag the graphic into the action schematic to add it to the composite. Press one left arrow to hide the Media panel. So the idea is to track this graphic to his movements. Let's track his arm first. Double-click on the axis for its controls. All we want to do is track the position of his hand for most of the shot. With the stabilizer set to track, click the stabilizer button. Ensure you are on frame 1 and position the tracker boxes on the bottom point between his wrist and the shirt. Resize the tracker boxes to be more rectangular, and that should do the trick. Click the Analyze button. The tracker might go off on the last few frames. This is okay because we only want the movement up to the point before he swipes his hand. So press Option D to delete the last few keyframes just before the hand gesture. Now exit the stabilizer and scrub the time bar. So the graphic is attached to his hand, but it needs to be resized and positioned accordingly. Create a space between the tracked axis and the image. Go to the Action Bin menu and drag out a new axis. Insert it between the tracked axis and the image. This new axis will be the offset for the tracking data. Double-click on the axis and scale it down to 25%. Also move the graphic up by 50 pixels. So that is the first part of the animation. Now let's say as part of the interactivity, as soon as he pulls the graphic down, it replicates itself 5 times. This requires another set of animation to achieve this. So to break this down into something more manageable, we are going to disconnect the axis nodes from the surface. Press Option and move them to the side. So we'll create another set of animation and then recombine it later. In order to create 5 identical versions of the same graphic, we will use a technique called instancing. Go to the Action node bin and add 5 axis nodes into the composite. To connect them quite quickly to the image, hold the Shift Option keyboard shortcut and reverse parent the image to all the axis nodes. This creates 5 instances in the composite of a single image object. In order to copy animation between these nodes, we are going to use another technique known as Mimicking. Add another axis to the action schematic. Hold Shift W and drag the new axis across all 5 nodes. The dotted connection indicates that all these nodes will mimic or duplicate what has been done in this node. We also want the value in each of these nodes to increase exponentially as the animation develops. So drag individual connections between the different nodes. We are essentially using the schematic to build a type of animation behavior without writing a single expression. This is one of many great uses of connecting the nodes. So if I grab this node and rotate it, you can see the effect that this is creating with all the connected nodes. Now undo any transformations and let's create the spread animation. Select the result view and zoom out quite a bit and pan the view over to the left. Turn on Auto Key and go to frame 25. Click the X position channel and set a value of 0. Now go to frame 35 and increase the X position to 1200. So scrubbing the time bar, all the elements have spread out by 1200, but due to the connections, each node has also moved right by an exponential factor of 1200. So the first node is 1200, the second is 2400, the third is 3600, and so on. But all the images move to the right. We would like image 3 to be the center, and everything spreads out from there. Go back to the Action node bin and drag out another axis. Connect it to the first axis node of the image, but do not link it using Mimic. So this node will push all the other nodes in the node branch. Double-click this node and go back to frame 25. Set a value of 0 on the X position channel. Go to frame 35. Now because everything goes right, we are going to counteract this by animating the node to the left. Set the X position to -3600. This value can be worked out from the original 1200 exponentially increased by a factor of 3 according to the node branch. Select the result view and fit the composite to the window. When you scrub the time bar, you can see how we create the spread animation with the current node branch. Now the point of this video was to create different sets of animation and combine them all together. So here we have the other nodes with the original animation. If we move the nodes and connect them together, the animations will combine together to create a concatenated result. Scrubbing the time bar, the two animations have combined, and the result should be quite cool. The only remaining part is to swipe all of this off-screen to match the hand movement. Double-click on the tracking axis at the top of the node branch. The node contains tracking data for most of the clip, but there are no keyframes here, so we can use it. If there were already keyframes, you could use an offset axis to create the last animation. Now go to frame 65. Right-click on the X position channel and set a keyframe at the current value. Go to the last frame and set the X position value to 1100. So the graphics don't go completely off-screen, but if there was a few more frames, you probably could do that. So that's the animation complete. Let's do a few extra touches. Double-click on the image object for its controls. Turn off Auto Key. Set the blending mode to screen. Change the surface rendering from linear to EWA plus linear for a better finish. Exit Connect Effects and render the segment. So hopefully this gives you an idea about the creativity you can think of just by how you connect the nodes. Whether you create them all together or as separate branches and connect them at a later point, you can create complex animations that can be tweaked and defined at any level of the animation. Comments, feedback, and suggestions are always welcome and appreciated. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to the Smoke Learning channel for future videos.